Hello guys, this is JC. I'm here with my bro C. As y'all can see, we finally is made it settling down. We out here. This is what the property looks like. That's our closest neighbor. I'll go on with that in a bit. And not sure if y'all can see in the distance, but there sure are a few people out here doing pretty much the same thing. I am in Nevada, Crescent Valley. So if you are out here, you're more than welcome to give me a shout out. From what I understand, because me and my brother, we have met some really good people here so far. There's only we make number 3 and number 4 of the black people out here. So if you're here, you may have already heard about us. This is our view, which I think is amazing. Right now, it probably doesn't look too amazing. We got overcast skies. It just finished raining. And then but I think that is beautiful, me personally. Like I said, we got 5 acres. This is the other side where that green pole is at, right there. That's one end of our property. So from that pole, not sure if I can see the other pole. Try to zoom in a bit. Yeah, I don't see it, but it's somewhere right about there probably. But yeah, so just want to start talking about what the journey has been like. Kristen, me and my bro, he came from New York City, by the way, and I picked him up in Virginia because I'm a OTR truck driver, and that was the best place to meet at, because we had to go down to North Carolina and pick up the rest of my belongings that I was able to procure from North Carolina. Now, first I want to say this. I want to give a really, really, really big shout out to Howdy No Dowdy. I had planned on coming out here irregardless of the fact, but by watching her channel, and if you ain't been watching her channel, you probably should. It is, I believe, the best accurate depiction of someone trying to start this homesteading life from scratch, not having any background in, at least from what I can gather, for what it takes to do this. And it really is not a simple thing, at least not to me, not in my opinion. So I seen a lot of her tribulations and what she was going through, and how and how she was dealing with them on a day-to-day basis. She remains strong. She's out there with her mother and her son, and every day is always something new. And she has inspired me by just giving me that level of motivation to be even more interested in making this transition come true for me. So again, I just want to give you a really big shout out, Bosh. You was truly, truly helpful. Continue what you're doing. I do wish you the best. I wish everyone the best who's looking to pursue this lifestyle. So there's that. But I want to try to like tackle a few things. I don't know if they're going to be helpful for anyone. If it was me watching, I think I would find them to be helpful. Because not everybody is like the YouTube homesteaders, so again, hopefully you'll learn something from this. I hope you can, listen to what I got to say and, follow me on this journey. I really hope that y'all do, because me and my brother, we really don't have no clue to what it is that we're doing here. We're learning day by day, and every day so far has really been challenging, at least for me. My brother is a bit more laid back and able to absorb a lot of the stuff that I have to endure, But with that said, like I said, we started from Virginia and made our way to North Carolina. I had to pick up my stuff and met up with my nephew. Shout out to Kasim. Want to appreciate you for your support, standing by me through all the tribulations that I've been going through, and giving me that level of moral support that we all need from time to time when things just go haywire. So, I have rented a U-Haul. I actually had to rent a car hauler. They gave me a toy hauler so that I can bring my Camaro from Pennsylvania to North Carolina, and I dropped it with my nephew. The plan is my nephew will do all the necessary things that I wanted to do with it, and when it's done, he's going to give it to my daughter, Jayla, when she turns 16, which is going to be in about 2 to 3 more years. I told him there's no rush for it, because she can't drive it now, so I got a lot of things planned I want to do with it for her, and by the time she gets it, it'll be free and clear for her, and she'll have a nice little whip, all decked out and everything. But anyway, we get to North Carolina. We drop off all of that. We drop the car off. Got to get another U-Haul, and that's where we picked up all my stuff that I had in North Carolina. Let me tell you, that trip was something else. Now, this car here, let me show you. You may have already seen it already, but this car here, I bought with the express purpose of being able to make this trip here. Because, I knew my Camaro wasn't going to do it. Just to carry my stuff and my brother's stuff, it just wasn't going to happen. So I went and spent extra money to get that so that we can move out here. That trip was incredible. The first tidbit I want to give y'all is when you are planning on moving and driving yourself, bear in mind if you're towing something, that's going to cost extra in gas. Now, me as a truck driver, I should have known better, because I really did not guess that it would take as much as fuel cost is concerned, as much as it actually did. I must have had to stop for fuel maybe, I don't know if this is going to sound any exaggerating, but maybe at least 30 times. $50 a pop. All right. This was just incredible. We probably was getting maybe 9-10 miles per gallon. And that's almost a little bit more than 2,000 miles the whole travel, Like that really killed me. So just bear in mind that. I don't know, for me, that was the best way to move because I have my property in North Carolina. Had to pick my brother up, and I didn't know no other way to coordinate things. You know, there are a lot more y'all smarter than me that might be able to have figured out a more efficient or cost-effective way of making this move. On the way of the many stops, we had some issues. Not really issues, but I had to get inside the trailer one day, and let me show you this. Get in the trailer, and this is what I find inside my trailer. All my monitors destroyed. Now, I don't know how many of y'all familiar with monitors, but these are not cheap monitors. These are BenQ monitors. I paid a good amount of money for this. All right. Those are 3 monitors. I used them for color editing for my videos. And that right there is the net result of about almost $2,000 worth of monitors. It might even be more because I really don't remember how much I paid for them. But they're destroyed. I was devastated. Devastated. That hurt. I could not believe that that was just another thing to add insult to my injury of 2025. Said to myself, might as well just have left them, you know? Just left them. Because at least somebody could have got some use with them. But now they're nothing but trash to be burnt sooner or later. Because I don't know what to do with them. They're destroyed. So I close up the U-Haul trailer, and in my frustration, I didn't close the U-Haul trailer. I didn't lock it. We're driving down 80 in Nebraska, and people are honking their horns at us. Pull over. The back of the U-Haul trailer is wide open. Thank God we didn't kill nobody or lose anything. But that happened. Eventually we did reach here. And we got here like in the early evening. The original plan was to, if we got here at the time that we actually did get here, was to parlay at a hotel and all that, freshen up for the night and everything. But because of this, I had to 86 that. I said, hey, I have to cut costs. So what we did was, as you can see, I think it's fairly large. And we used that. We just stayed in the tent overnight. We set up our little stove. I'll show you that in a second. Set up our camper stove, which was real interesting because me or knowing my brother, we're not Boy Scouts. So we had the hardest time trying to get this blicky lit the fuck up. This is the camping stove that we had inside the tent. The tent has, see, that's the exhaust pipe and that's the stove there. All right. The tent does have a spot for the exhaust, which is right over here. And you just put the pipe through the tent, through this little tent thing. Now we was under the impression that this was going to be like open. It wasn't. Yeah, that's it. We thought this was going to be open, but it wasn't. So we had to cut a slit through it in order to push the pipe through. And I'm guessing relatively it kind of worked fine, but because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, we pretty much smoked ourselves out. So we went and dealt with that night with really no heat. Right? We didn't have no heat at the first night, right? No. So we just slept in there and roughed it out pretty much. The next day I went and got torpedo heater. And because we had to wait, I think it was 3 days for our arrival of our cabin. And so we needed heat. I was not about to spend another frozen night out here in the middle of nowhere. And I went and got a torpedo heater. I will interject a picture of it later on because I put the torpedo heater up. Now, for those of y'all who are aptly familiar with these things, y'all will know that something like a torpedo heater is not to be used in closed doors or closed spaces, should I say, or enclosed spaces, should I say, because of the fear of carbon monoxide. So what we had to do, what we decided on, was that we would turn it on, put it in the front of the tent, not inside, but in front of the tent with the tent doors open, and just let it blaze. We left the entries of the tents open, and we was in there toasty. It was good and warm. Torpedo heater worked fantastically. Of course, with me, that came with some issues. So first of all, I was under the impression that all we needed was some fuel for that thing to go. No, you need electricity. Did not know that, but I did prepare to have some kind of electricity. I went and brought a generator. But before I show you the generator, I want to show you something else so that you can understand why it was pretty interesting doing what we did. This here is, from what I understand, could come from a number of things. That right there. There are a number of large holes in the ground. Not only we got the little field mice holes, but there are a number of large holes in the ground. And in my understanding, or what we've been told, is that there are badgers, there are rattlesnakes, the mice, as well as the coyotes. So if you're still following along, you'll understand that using that torpedo heater the way that we did, we actually left ourselves open to a lot of critters that could have came during the evening to visit us. Thankfully, we didn't have none. It was relatively quiet, so we didn't have at least we didn't knowingly have any visitors. So the torpedo heater worked as well as it did. We got it connected to the generator. Unfortunately, trying to start the generator was a whole headache. Again, we have no clue to what the fuck we're doing. So that took a little bit of a process of trying to figure out how to actually get this thing to turn on. Not realizing that there's a switch there for 240 and 120, and we didn't have it on anything. That's why we wasn't getting no power. But eventually we figured it out. The generator that we have right now, I got it covered more or less from the elements. This is a Champion, I believe it's called a Champion 5000. All right. It has a peak of 5,000 watts. I'm running at 4,000. I'm not too sure how truthful that is, but that's what it's built as. And I'll tell you why I feel that. So we got the torpedo heater working, and it worked out just fine. So later on, the next day, while we was preparing to call it a night, brother was over to, by this point, we done took out the stove and set it off to the side, and he was using it as an oven, like a cooktop, make us something to eat. Our neighbor which is our closest neighbors, right here. And big shout out to Adam. He was the first neighbor we actually ran into. And when they say that homesteading is a community of people, like-minded folk, they really mean that. Because in my opinion, and coming from a background that I come from and my brother comes from, we tend to steer clear of folk. You know, because you never know what people are like, and you don't want to, you know, encroach on people's privacy or whatever have you, you know. But he came over and introduced himself and said, hey, I'm your neighbor. I'm Adam. And not sure if y'all have, you know, you have this already. I'm pretty sure you have some provisions, but just wanted to let you know it gets cold at night. And he gave us 2 wool blankets. Just like that. Didn't even know us from a hole in the wall. Now to y'all, that might not sound like nothing, but to me, that meant everything to me. Because again, we are number 3 and 4 black folk out here. And I did not know what everybody's attitude was going to be by, you know, 2 young black men. Well, we're not young. We're in our 50s and 60s here. But we're not young. But, you know, 2 black men moving into a town, small town like this. I'm walking down the road. Down this road. I don't even know where it leads to. Yeah, he did that. We talked for a little while. He gave us a pretty much understanding. He told me how to go about getting water, because I told him that we was going to haul water in. He was like, no, don't do that. He said, that costs too much money. He said, go into town. They got the county office. I forget what it's called right now, and just sign up for unmetered water. You can get water from the well from the city, and pump you some water there. And you can get 16,000 gallons a month. There's no way in the world we're gonna use 16,000 gallons in 1 month, but all for the low price of $50 or less. It's not even $50. I'm just rounding it off. It's more like $34 and some change. But I just rounded it off to 50. All right. So that's what we did. And that was good because we needed something to confirm that we actually live out here, so that we can go get a post office box and I can transfer my license from North Carolina to Crescent Valley. So, yeah, so, I mean, he really helped us. I talked about everything and what we needed to know, and we spent another night out here, and it was relatively good. He actually, because I was planning on having a guy come down here and come into the property. Now, I got other video up. I never posted it, but kind of show this. If you can see this, looks like sort of like a burn or some berm or something. I'm not sure how you put it. This is like a ditch pretty much. Now, according to Adam, the road was never like this. It was relatively flat, like was able to just ride onto the property. But can't remember who he said wanted to do this. Try to find it for y'all if I can. They wanted to build a large cat sanctuary right there. So they begun doing that, and I guess as they was dragging equipment and all of that, they messed the road up. They didn't mess up Adam's road too much because Adam said they bitched about it, you know, but they really destroyed this road, so it was real hard for us to even get up in it. So anyway, I had a guy that was supposed to come out here, make me a road going into my property. Now, like I said, I'm a truck driver, so most truck drivers, I'm a company driver, but I'm pretty sure, owner operators have the same concern. When it's time for them to go home, where do they park their trucks at, and I was wanting to be able to park on my property. Now, I did not know what the road conditions was going to be in bringing a whole tractor trailer out here. As it stands right now, I am thinking that, yeah, I probably will not bring a rig out here until these roads, because they get pretty muddy. Right now it's not too bad, but they do get really, really muddy out here. But there is parking nearby that I can actually park a tractor trailer at. It's relatively speaking nearby, but it is nearby. And he's supposed to come here. He built the road that would lead into here and would actually have gone down here and come back around and come back here. That way I can bring a tractor trailer in here, swim around the shed, and then be able to leave when I wanted to leave. So that guy, he's from around here, I'm assuming. Adam didn't know who he was. Adam's been living here for 5 years. And he says he's pretty much familiar with everyone out here. I'm pretty sure he don't know everybody, but I'm pretty sure he's familiar. If this guy said he does this kind of work, pretty sure he would have known him. He would have came across in some form or fashion. Anyway, he didn't know him. The guy said he was going to come out here and clear all this up. Now, we did not clear, me and my brother did not clear this up. All right, let me put it like this. Me and my brother had started pulling out these bushes. All these bushes here. And we must have cleared out from this pole to, I believe, about here. All right? All of this we had cleared out of brush. But after we spoke with Adam put us on to the county commissioner, who cleared his land for him, and relatively speaking, it was affordable. And so I told him, hey, yeah, let me get that number, because I'm not too sure if this other guy's gonna come out and do it. And the reason why I wasn't sure about the other guys that I had reached out onto on Facebook Marketplace is because some things just wasn't adding up. So, like I said, he was going to do a job where he was supposed to, clear this out, a road, come back around. Now, his calculations was that it was going to require something like 283 square yards of quarter gravel. He also said that he was not only going to do that, he was going to grade this flat, and right here, the road is all messed up at. He said that he was going to put I forget what you call it, but it's a pipe that you put in, you put the dirt on top of rock on top of it so that you can ride over it and the water be able to drain through. He said he was going to do that. And all of that, he said he was going to do that for $4,000. I'm like, great, that sounds good. That's something I want to do. Cool. The day in which that he was supposed to come out here, he never showed up. All right. But the first flag that I got from him is I had reached out to a number of other places as well, because I've grown to the point where if you rely on just one person, you might be just shooting yourself in the foot, because people are like this. You never know who's going to be reliable, who's not going to be reliable. So I did reach out to a lot of other places, and basically they told me that if he's going to do all of that for $4,000, he's essentially working for free. Just the gravel alone for 280 plus yards of quarter gravel, that is tantamount to about $17,000. So to me, something just wasn't adding up right. Then on top of that, he didn't have a pay portal. So if you're a legitimate business, you're going to have some form of pay portal, something, PayPal, something to that effect. He didn't have any of that. He was talking about Cash App and Venmo. To me, that was a red flag. And the fact that he didn't come without the day he said he was going to come out, to me, it seemed like he was trying to say, hey, I'm getting this gravel now. hey, I'm gonna need you to pay so many dollars for the gravel so that I can get the gravel and bring it out to you. And then I just would never have seen any gravel. I'd have been out of the little bit of money I'd have gave him for the gravel, and that would have been that. So, nevertheless, I went with Adam's people. He called the commissioner. He called right away. Came right away because I told him that my cabin was supposed to be here the next day. He came out, cleared even more space that we even asked him to clear. Must have to do the whole thing that he did. Must have took him maybe 3 hours. Now, as you can see, it's not 3/4 gravel. I don't know what you would call this, but he said that this was road gravel. That's what he called it. He said after a while it'll compact and all of this and that and the third. Had some heavy rain so far, at least within the past 2 days we had heavy rains. No issues of mudding, none of that. So the amount of gravel that he so far that he has brung is doing just fine to me. He did not grade it. He just cleared it, which is all right with me. All right. As you can see, able to put, because we never, like I said, the other guy, he was supposed to come bring the gravel and create a gravel pad. Well, allow me to be able to create a gravel pad, and he never showed up. So we went and got us, I believe this is 24 blocks. And they sat the shed on there, took their time and level, showed me that it was level front to back, left to right, corner to corner, so on and so forth. I was satisfied with it, and they went on their merry way. And there you have it with that. So that's how we got to that point. However, the drama was just beginning. While being inside the house, like I told you, we have the torpedo heater, we have the generator, all right? And you should know that, at least with us, I don't know about anybody else, we moved out here because the land was cheap, on top of the fact that the code enforcement was a bit laxed. They really didn't care about the folks out here in the boonies, I guess you would call it. I even called the county planners, and they was like, hey, yeah, you could live in your shed if that's what you want to do. We don't have no issues with that. We ain't got no codes and none of that we enforce as it relates to that. So you're more than welcome to do that. They said, like, this is why people move out here, because there is no, pretty much, you live free as you want to live, Nobody bothers nobody and that kind of thing. However, this really is truly in the middle of no freaking where. All right. To the city of Crescent Valley, I don't know if you can see it, but you see that? That really isn't the city. That is still the boonies. The city is further outside, and I can't zoom in close enough so that you. So when I drive from here, it takes me somewhere between 10 to 15 minutes just to get out of this area. All right. And that brings me into Crescent City Valley city limits, which is a really small town. It's not nothing big. They don't have no McDonald's, no Subways. They don't even have a Family Dollar, Dollar General, none of that. All right? It's a really, really small town. Okay? So it takes me 10 to 15 minutes just to get there. Then to get out of Crescent Valley to get to I-80, that's another 10 to 15 minutes. And there is nothing in between there. Cows, a couple of ranches, train tracks. That's it. Get to I-80. Then it's another 10, 15 minutes to get to Carlin. That is the closest thing here, at least that I've seen. where you can find some level of what you can refer to as civilization. They got like 3 truck stops there. They got a little market where they sell alcohol there. They got a bar cafe. They do got a Riley's, which is a supermarket they have, and a Family Dollar there. That's pretty much all I know about Carlin. Oh, and the post office is there. There is no post office out in Crescent Valley. So the point is that I'm making here is that when we choose to do this lifestyle, because I'm going to be honest with you, I wanted to be out here. I wanted to be in a place where I can find some affordable land. I wanted to be able to live and convert a cabin shed into a home. I wanted all of this, okay? What I did not by wanting all of that, and again, there's going to be smarter people in the comments that's going to say, you wanted to be out there, you should have known that that was going to be the case. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a truck driver. I'm on the roads continuously. And from my vantage point, it's like it's always something around. There is always something around. Now, you do have those pockets that you can travel for 15, 20, sometimes even 30 miles. There's absolutely nothing. Right? That is true. But I didn't look at it like that. You know, I really thought that, Crescent Valley, they would have, certain things. I knew they wouldn't have everything. I knew that I would have to travel to a bigger city to get some things. But you got to go to a bigger city to get practically everything. And if you are, like me, totally unfamiliar with how this homesteading thing really goes down, really what you're needing to have, really what you're needing to make sure you need to take care of. If you're like me and you have zero clue about none of this, that everything is going to be a first time, first impression kind of thing, you're going to find out that it is a cumbersome process to adjust to. For me, like I said, I did not really think of it like that. I knew I would have to leave town, but I didn't think like the time to leave and for anything. It is at least a 2-hour adventure. So please, don't think you're going to be just running to town to go get you a sandwich or something rather small. You better bunch all what you need together, double that up so that you can have extra and that you don't have to make the trip again. Because we've been here, Caesar, how long we been here? We've been here 6 days now. And out of the 6 days, I have to guesstimate we made maybe 12 trips back and forth. Think about it. That's fuel. That's time away from having to do whatever it is that you're trying to do here. And it's just tiring, And once we got the cabin, that's when other issues happened. The heating situation changed. So I figured like I was going to get a stove. That never happened. I reached out to someone. I was supposed to pick up a stove from them. They had these 2, I forget what they call them, what kind of stove they're, but they're not barrel stoves, but they sort of like a barrel stove. They got a flat top with a stovepipe. And the lady I was speaking with from Facebook Marketplace, she said it was an indoor stove, that kind of thing. And so I'm like, okay, we need a stove. Because having to run back and forth for fire and for propane and gasoline, that's starting to wear out. Utilizing the torpedo heater. So I said, you know what? This is what we'll do. We'll go get. By the way, she flaked out on me. She's, I think, out in Winnemucca. I think that's how you pronounce that. She flaked out, so there's that. But I went and got 2 electric heaters. Now, based on my generator says 5,000 peak, 4,000 running. I got 2 small electric heaters with oscillating fans. They say they have a run of 1,100 watts per. So I figure I get 2 just to make sure that, the space is, relatively warm. No. It popped the breaker. So I don't know. I don't know how true that 5,000, 4,000 thing is. So I don't know. But anyway, that was like another headache. Oh my God. We couldn't figure out why it stopped the generator. I mean, the generator was still running, but there was no power being fed to the heaters. So maybe after an hour or so, figured it out. I went out there, pressed the breaker button. The power came back on, and we just used 1 heater. That heater lasted up until 10 o'clock. Of course, the fuel ran out. So we had another night of sleeping in the cold. Now, I forgot to mention that from the county commissioner, he introduced me and my brother to some ladies here. And we've been chatting it up with them. They real nice, lovely girls. I really wish that I could have spent more time with them, but I think it's more important that I get this together, this stuff here together, before I start doing party time. Like, we did all hang out one evening, and we had a bunch of fun. We drunk and everything, and it was real good fun. Met her little doggy. She has a big husky. We have 2 little doggies. I don't know when you'll get to see them, but right now they inside sleeping because we finally got the heating situation together. We got us a Mr. Buddy, I think it's called, a Big Buddy Pro Series heater. Because after that situation with the electric heater going out, I was like, listen, I need something that does not require electricity. So let me give you my spin on it. I told my brother this. I paid for this, which is the generator. All right. That was close to $600. Okay. I paid for the torpedo heater, which was close to $400 and some change. I paid for propane. As you can, I have a 100-pound and a 40-pound tank so far. All right. The 100-pound, I can't really remember. I think it's like $300. The 40-pound was like close to $200. I'm not sure. I paid for the 2 electric heaters. Those both were under $100 a pop. So let's round that up to about $150. Not including the fuel that it takes for me to run the generator back and forth, having to fill it up at 5 gallons at a pop. The fuel that it takes for my car to go back and forth, and the time that it takes to go back and forth. That if this is the lifestyle that you're going to do, don't rely on a generator to provide you your electricity. Have it as